ago, and I just finished season 1 of Family Secrets, and just kind of wanted to reflect on that since I don't have enough time to listen to another one before I get home and don't want to stop in the middle of one. So my thoughts are that I agree with both of you that we should, in some fashion, capture all of this, whether it's through writing a blog or just collecting videos like this and then putting it all together later, or even trying to figure out how to collaboratively write a book. I don't know. Whatever seems like the most appropriate medium for capturing this, I am 100% behind it and will contribute in whatever way is needed. As I was listening to the podcast, season 1, I heard parts of our story in many of the stories that were told, and granted there's a couple more seasons that I haven't listened to yet, so maybe they have interviewed people that have a similar story to us, but so far I haven't heard them talk about or interview anyone that has our story. And maybe, I'm sure that, we're not the only people in the world that are half siblings that have, found each other through this, DNA testing or whatever, but every family is unique. And, even if they have done an episode or two about half siblings and, reconnecting after an adoption or whatever, it's not our story. And I think our story is pretty amazing, and I think that we absolutely need to capture it and share it because it's beautiful. I know that it's still kind of unfolding. There's a lot to come. As I said the other day, I'm super excited that, Brooke, you're going to Ohio in a month to talk to your grandfather. I think that's going to be fascinating for you and for all of us, just to hear what he knows. Hopefully he'll be willing to share that information with you, and then eventually approaching your dad. I'm curious if you're going to ask your dad's sister, Sandy, if she knows anything before you go to your dad, or if you think that she'll tell you what she knows regardless of your dad trying to interfere with it, if she knows anything at all. But I think, like I said, there's a lot that's still going to unfold. As I was driving, they were talking about DNA tests and blah, blah, blah. I finally, when I stopped for gas, I pulled the trigger on buying an Ancestry DNA heredity and traits kit, and it was actually on sale, so I ended up buying 2. So Rachel, I will have one for you if you want to do it. I'll have a spare when you come back to the States, if you want to spin in a second too. So so that will be another thing to look forward to. I'm kind of hoping that it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow, which is impressive. The nice thing about living in a city. So I'm going to spit in the tube and send it back as soon as I receive it tomorrow, and it would be really cool if those results were back in time for Brooke going to Ohio, but I don't know that they will be. That's a pretty tight turnaround time, but it is a month, so who knows, maybe it will. I don't know what their turnaround time is compared to Ancestry or to 23andMe, but I should have my updated DNA stuff back from 23andMe in time for Brooke's visit. Not that I think that anything is going to change. I think if anything, it's just going to firm up the results even more, because it's going to show more of my traits, and we can see, more crossover genetic relationship with each other goes, I don't expect that that's going to change by even a 0.1%. So, yeah. But it would be cool to be able to show both sets of independent DNA results to Grandpa and whoever else wants to see them, just in case there is any, inkling for denial or whatever, I think if shown those hard facts, unless somebody was just like a pathological liar, they cannot deny this. So anyway, that's where my head's at. I've got 10 minutes left. I'm going to keep this video short because the last one was really long and the audio was shitty, and I hope that this one sounds better. I'll probably share it with you guys. But again, my thoughts tend to vanish after I start thinking about other things, and I just wanted to capture this as I was driving, and just wanted to reflect on the podcast and the events of this weekend. Speaking of that, thank you guys for taking the time to talk with my parents. From my perspective, it was a little bit embarrassing just because, I expected them to tell the stories that they told because those are their go-to stories. But nevertheless, it was a little bit embarrassing just because some of what they told you is like me from a really long time ago and not who I am now. And I think I mentioned during our conversation on Saturday that I am grateful that you didn't find me until now, because I didn't like who I was before. I don't think I'm perfect now, but I think that who you're getting to know is a better person. So I'm glad that, things happened the way they did. And I think that knowing you guys is going to make me an even better person. And I think you came along at the exact right time. So my parents could not stop talking about you guys. Hang on, I'm going over a bridge and it's very bumpy. My parents could not stop talking about you. We went to dinner after our conversation on Saturday. We went to brunch this morning on Sunday, and you're all that we talked about. Mom had lots of questions. My dad was more like, he was very cute. He kept reiterating how happy he was for me that I have you guys in my life now. And it's just, they're such selfless people. Like, they have absolutely no sense of being threatened by these new relationships or anything like that. They're